Welcome back, y'all. So last part, we were able to set up our user authentication for our application. Today, we're going to be setting up our backend as well as implementing Survey.js. So let's get into it. Just a quick preface before we do begin. I don't think I made this clear in the last tutorial. You don't want to use my domain or client ID in your project, or else it won't work for you, because I will be getting rid of this application after completing the tutorial. So remember, you have to sign up for a Auth0 account and then make an application, and inside of the settings tab you'll see your domain and client ID. Just go ahead and copy those and just put them in your respective areas. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing what you want to do is go ahead and install Survey.js into your application. Now this is going to be npm install SurveyReact, and as that's happening, I created a quick survey already inside of the Survey.js builder online. You can find the link to this in the description below. But what you do is go ahead and make a quick survey with as many questions as you want. And I'm going to go straight to embed the survey. So this part right here, I'm going to click on the React version. And since we're not using any Bootstrap or anything, we're just using plain CSS, I am going to copy, first of all, these styles right here. And I'll put them in my index.html, which is right here. I'm going to put it right underneath here. Save it, and I'm also going to go back into our Do a Survey page. Now in our Do a Survey page, I'm going to go ahead and import all as survey from SurveyReact, and I'm also going to import SurveyReact / survey.css for the styles. And if we go back to our builder, you can see this tab right here, JSON editor. Go ahead and open that up and copy what's inside of here. And right underneath our const, I'm going to create a function. I'm going to create a variable. Let's call it variable for now. Survey JSON. I'll set it equal to what we have right here. Cool. Save that. Alright, so I'm going to go back to our Embed Survey tab right here, and if you see in the JavaScript area, we have a function and we also have a tag. I'm just going to get rid of this hello right here, and I'm going to copy this tag right here and input it right in there. I'll get rid of this document get element by ID because we don't need any of that stuff. And I'm also going to copy and paste this function right underneath our variable. Save it, and let's go and test it out, see if it works. If we go into our survey example, and we see we've implemented Survey.js, we can do a quick survey, complete it, and it says it alerts the results, and it says thank you for completing the survey. Now this is going to be very crucial to allowing us to be able to send data to the backend, save it, and bring it back, because we can alert our results, but we're going to also alert our results to the backend and then re-render them in a different tab to the front end. Alright, so now that we have that done, I'm going to create a file in our components tab right here, and I'm going to call it, let's call it surveys_done.js, and this will store basically all of our surveys that we've done so far. And I'm just going to copy what we have here, and I'll just get rid of most of the stuff. So we don't need any of this stuff right here, and we'll just do an H2, whoops, right here, H2 that says hello. I'll get rid of this stuff and I'll call it surveys done. Save that. I'm going to go into our app.js and I'll add a private route right here. So private route, give it the path is equal to /surveys done. Close the quotes, and add a component is equal to surveys done. Now let's import it. Oh cool, it's already there. That's pretty neat. So now if we go right, we also have to put it on our navbar, so I'll just do link and I'll do surveys done 2 is equal to /surveys done. Now let's test it out in our navbar, see if it works. Cool. Now we have our component rendering. Now let's try and implement the stuff for Express Server. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder inside of our source folder, and I'm going to call it server, and inside of that folder I'm going to create a file called server.js. Now this is where we're going to be putting our Express server. Now to install Express, what we have to do is npm I express --save. Now if you don't have Node.js installed on your operating system, you can just search up online how to install Node and the name of your operating system. So if I'm on Windows, you can just search up a tutorial on how to install Node.js on Windows. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to install two packages from npm. One is going to be npm I course, and the other one is going to be body parser. Alright, now that we've installed all of the things that we need, I'm going to go ahead inside of our server.js file. I'm going to do const express is equal to require express. That's the first one. Next one is going to be const path is equal to require path. Cool. Next one is going to be body parser. So body parser is equal to require body parser. And the last one is going to be course. So variable course is going to equal to require course. Nice. Now what we're going to do is const app is equal to express. And now I'm going to do app.use body parser.url encoded extended true app.use body parser.json and app.use course. Cool. Alright, so now I'm going to run our Express server on port 5000. So to do that, it'll just be const port is equal to process.env.port, and then I'm going to use the or symbol 5000. Whoops. And app.listen port. Now just make sure that everything is running. I'm just going to do console.log app is listening on port, and then I'll just do port. Save that. Now I'm going to go into our server folder. Oops, cd src cd server, and then should be node server.js. Cool. So now we can see that app is listing on port 5000. Now if we do actually go on to localhost 5000, we won't be able to see anything because we haven't set a get route. So let's do that right now. So app.get, and I'm just going to do slash just for seeing if it actually works. So recres request response, and inside of here I will do res.send hello. That's pretty simple. Now we have to restart a server and refresh. Now we see we have hello. So we set up our Express server. Now let's connect it with our front end to send servers back and forth between one another. Alright, so let's worry about the front end first, and then we'll worry about the back end. So I'm going to open up a new terminal, and I'm going to npm install Axios. While that's happening, I'm going to go into our do a survey right here. I get rid of this alert because we don't need that anymore, but I will leave the json.stringify because I will probably forget about that. I'm just going to comment it out. And while Axios is installing, I'm just going to import it right in here. So import Axios from, just when it's done, Axios. Cool. So I have this link open right here, HTTP request methods, and this is really useful that if you don't know anything about get, post, put, delete, or any of these, go to this link. It'll be in the description below. Read up on it quickly. It'll help you out a ton trying to figure out what's happening. But for our front end, we're going to be using the post method, because it says right here, the data sent to the server with the post method is stored in the request body of the HTTP request. So we're going to be using the post method to be sending data from our front end to the back end. Alright, so what does it look like in use? So what we're going to be doing is axios.post, sending a post request to http://localhost 5000 / I'm going to call it do a survey, comma, curly braces. Inside of here I'm going to give two parameters. One is going to be data, and I'll do survey.data, and the other one is going to be email, user.email. I'll explain what user.email is after I complete this Axios post request. So .then res console.log res. If you have an error, catch console.log error. Alright, so the reason I put user.email there is because we need to find a way to distinguish between which survey was done by which user. And so this is where user.email comes in, and we could just filter out, is it done by a88.com, is it done by bab.com, is it done by csc.com, etc., etc. So just to finish this off, I am also going to import the rest of it. So import use auth0 from React auth-spa, and right underneath our JSON for a survey, I'm going to do const user is equal to use auth0, and we also need to set this user to our local storage so that when the survey is done, we can distinguish immediately when by whom the survey was done by. So it will just be local storage dot set item, and we'll give the key user email, and what is it, user dot email. Cool. Save that. Let's find out if there's any errors. Nice. Alright, so let's go into our server.js file, and I'm going to make a variable called let surveys, and just make it an object. And what this object is responsible for is it's going to store all of our surveys ever. And so now that we're sending the data from the front end to the back end, we want to manipulate the data however we want it to do. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to make a post request, so app.post and / do a survey, and I'm going to do rec res arrow function curly braces. And so this is where it gets a little bit weird. So we want to check in our surveys object right here if the email is present. So if the email is present, we want to push the survey data from our front end into the emails array. If it is not present, we want to make an array for that email and push it into it. So this is what it's going to look like. If the email rec.body.email is in surveys object, we want to push the data. So it'll be surveys rec.body.email .push rec.body.data. So this will push the data for that individual survey that was done at that moment in time. Else, if the email is not present, we will do surveys rec.body.email equal to empty array. And then we're going to do surveys rec.body.email .push rec.body.data. So the else statement is basically the exact same as before, except we just added making an array initially and then just pushing. And I'm also going to do a res.end at the end. Whoops, res.end. Save that. Alright, so let's test out if this works. So what I'm going to do is console.log surveys here, and I'm just going to add one right here as well. I'm also going to run our server, and now I'm going to do a survey, complete it. Cool, now you can see that we have that individual survey that we just did being pushed into this emails array. Now if we do another survey, and we just do 1, 4, 5, now we can see that it's being pushed again. Perfect, that's exactly what we wanted. Alright, so now what we have to do is we have to take the data that we have gotten with this post request, did what we needed to do with it, pushed it into our service object. Now we need to send it back. So that'll look like this: app.get :/email / oops, not :/email / email / surveys, and rec res, and inside of here we're going to have another if statement. So the first one is going to be initially when there's no surveys available, it'll always be undefined. So we want to, instead of returning undefined because that'll crash our application, we want to return an empty array. So that'll be if surveys res.params.email is equal to undefined, we want to return res.json empty array, or you can return whatever you want. I'm trying to do empty array for now. Else res.json surveys rec params email. Alright, so now we've told our application that, hey, if it comes out as undefined, just return an empty array. Now let's go back to our surveys done file right here, and let's finish this application up strong. So I'm going to save that. I'll just reset our node server. Inside of here, I'm going to import Axios from Axios because we're going to make a request to grab that data from the backend. I'm also going to import use auth0 from /react.spa, and that should be it. Now we should also, we're gonna need survey. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna also need survey and set survey, and we're gonna set that as use state. We also need import use state, forgot about that, and just an empty array. So here I'm gonna do use state, and we're also going to need use effect, which is basically the equivalent of component did mount. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do use effect right here, and ES6 syntax, and inside of here I'm going to make a function called const fetch items, and I'm going to set that ES6 syntax as well. And inside of here I'll do let local storage email equal to local storage dot get item, and remember the key, this is where it goes, user email. Nice. And I'm going to do Axios, make a get request, http / localhost 5000 / what was it? Surveys, yep. So this is where our, oops, I should use the other quotes. We need to use these quotes right here because we have to put in a variable. So we're going to do $, curly braces, local storage email / surveys. And right inside of here, I'm going to do .then res. I'll just console log res if there's any error that happens. Set survey res.data, and we'll also do .catch error. Whoops, that here, and we'll just console log the error if there is one. And right outside of our use effect, I'm just going to make an empty array, and we also have to call our fetch items array, which should be not there but one down right here. Fetch items. Cool, save that. Any errors? Do we have any errors? Let's check inspect. Cool, nothing to except for that. We'll worry about that later. Nice. So I'm just gonna reset the server. Alright, so we're almost done. We're almost to hometown, or whatever the hell the saying is. We're just gonna render our function right here, which is fetch items. Cool. Well, not render. We're gonna have to actually loop over our survey variable right here. So what that's going to look like is curly brace survey.map individual survey and index and ES6 syntax, and right here I'll just return a UL with an LI, and I'll give the UL a key of index, and I'm going to give the LI, well, we don't need to do that. Let's see if this can work right here. If we just do individual survey, I'm trying to see if I can avoid using JSON.stringify, but if it happens, it happens. So let's do a survey. What's the biggest number here? What's the smallest number? What's the middle number? Save that. Okay, moment of truth. And no, it doesn't work. Okay, let's do JSON.stringify. Okay, now let's restart this. I'm just gonna restart this real quick too. Alright, go to surveys, quickly do it. Thanks for completing it. Okay, hopefully, no. Okay, what's the error? Yeah, not found. Not found. Let's go here, email, surveys. Am I using the right URL? Surveys. Ah, yeah, surveys. That's the right one. Surveys. Survey, there we go. Because I just can't spell. Now what's the error? Email of undefined. Well, we have to restart our server because we just changed it. Did we change the server, or what did we change? I don't even know anymore. Okay, let's try. Let's go here. Still same error. Okay, so I figured out what the error was, and my god, it's really small. So it's actually rec.params.email, not res.params.email. So if I reset the server now, and we try it out, you go here. Oh, first of all, we don't see anything here. Undefined, perfect, return nothing. If I were to do the survey, complete it, go here, we see that we have our survey appearing. Now let's log out. Let's go to our different user. So we're logged in as a@a.com. Now let's log in as b@b.com. b@b.com. And we do a survey. Oh, actually, there's a sec right here. Okay, cool. We have no servers there. Do one here. Completed. Nice. So that concludes the series. I know I always said we were going to do 3 parts initially, but we got everything done in 2. I highly suggest that even though we're done, add some more stuff to this application. Challenge yourself to be better as a developer, and the only way you do that is to do more. But let's just name off a couple of things that we did learn while making this application. We learned how to set up user authentication, HTTP requests, cores, body parser. We learned how to use those, and we also learned how to use and set up an Express backend server. So you should be very proud of what you guys accomplished. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.